I have dedicated most of my life pursuing two things: flying and friendship. The 5th of July marked a very sad day for both. Two dear friends, good persons, who happened to share a similar love for aviation, left us too soon. I met Archie through another good friend, Wellington T, who suggested that I should take him up flying, as he may be interested in learning to fly. Our first trip was to Boracay, on my Beechcraft Baron. He was thrilled with the idea of flying, but felt that helicopters interested him more than airplanes, for their ability to land and take off from anywhere. He started learning to fly on a Robinson R-22. I have always been a fixed-wing kind of person, but he was able to convince me to learn rotary wing flying, lending me his R-22. He eventually decided to upgrade to an AS-350, and Fritz, Segovia and I joined him in some trips in this helicopter. He enjoyed flying choppers very much, even upgrading models twice, and then moving to an EC-120. When I got the chance to buy an Agusta A109 A2, Archie felt it was the right replacement for his EC-120. So I helped him negotiate the purchase of his own A109, which included an Agusta factory training package. Not only for him, but also for all his flying buddies, Meynard Halili, Fritz, and myself. We spent 3 weeks in northern Italy doing training, enjoying the food, the sights, and most of all, the bonding as friends. The A109 was the fastest, most powerful helicopter being manufactured, and we had many adventures together, flying all over the Philippines and nearby countries. We went to places no one else has been. Untouched coves, islands, mountains, rivers. Places that can't be reached without a helicopter. Archie was always very supportive of my endeavors. When I was trying to get the hot air balloon fiesta activities going, he convinced helicopter owners to come and do demonstrations. In our shoots for Asian Air Safari, he would come with us, not to be a part of the episode, but just to be my cheerleader. I met June as a young Navy officer, a very enthusiastic volunteer during the earlier balloon fiestas. He participated every year. He went beyond his duty by attending meetings, volunteering to do additional work to help the organizing committee. A few years later, he explained to me his decision to transfer to the Philippine Coast Guard.
This is a regular site for inspection for the Philippine Coast Guard. As you very well know, the Philippine Coast Guard is responsible for maritime patrol, marine life protection, and of course lighthouse inspections, among other functions of the Philippine Coast Guard.
Together with some officers who also watched the show, they requested me to do a feature of their operations and got to fly with them on some missions.
This morning, I'm very lucky because I get a chance to fly co-pilot with these guys from the Coast Guard, and I'm happy to be of service again. So what's our mission?
Well, for today, sir, we are planning to go to one of the islands, northern part of Cebu, specifically Pilar, which is part of Camotes Islands.
Okay.
And the mission is practically to airdrop relief goods area.
So no landing, just drop.
Just drop.
June was an excellent pilot, a natural. He was keen about learning to fly the A109 as it was a candidate aircraft for both the Coast Guard and the Navy. He came along some of our flights to learn more about the helicopter. Argie, recognizing his talent and passion for flying, supported June by giving him a scholarship to train on the Augusta in the USA. June tried to return the favor by flying for Archie whenever Fritz or myself were not available, especially when Archie decided to give up his flying for health reasons.
It was a Sunday lunchtime. The phone rang. My wife answered the phone and said, "That is Joy." So I answered the phone and he said, "Meynard, help me." And that was an uncharacteristic statement coming from Joy.
I was at Mass. Obviously, I had my phones on silent. After Mass, we went for lunch. My wife all of a sudden tells me, "Do you know Spike's been looking for you?" And Spike was on the phone.
Archie figured in an accident.
I said, "What?"
My hope was it was not what was going on in my mind. I got here, I saw Joy on the phone, quarterbacking the whole operation. He was talking to Fritz about the ambulance arrangements.
So I said, "Okay, I'll coordinate that."
John on the phone, Ian on the phone, Whedon on the phone.
I was able to get through Joy. He was already coordinating for a possible medevac.
I already saw that the weather is really bad. We might become the second accident.
It would still be better, quicker, if they could get an ambulance there, okay, not from Manila, but from there, and move on to St. Luke's.
It is really best for you to be here than be going to the site because they need someone to coordinate the whole thing.
Got another call from Spike, and Spike tells me that Archie passed away. Ats, the elder son of Archie, told me, "Why did my father have to choose this day?" And I said, "What day? Why? What is it today?" And he told me, "It's my birthday."
How do you talk about a friend that you have lost?
I was the first one that gave him a flight on a helicopter. We flew from Manila Polo Club and to Makiling. And after that day, he basically got hooked on the helicopter.
I was thrilled when he invited me to go with him and Joy and Fritz for a trip to Italy to train.
He insists in making sure that everybody that's doing anything with him knows all the scientific reasons behind why you do things and why things must be done a particular way.
The fact that he went to Augusta in Italy and invite friends who are pilots, it's an indication that he wanted to learn how to fly this thing the way the factory meant it to be flown.
I really wanted to visit the crash site, and for the very reason that it's really painful to hear 1,001 stories, comments with no basis at all in social media, in the news, in the gatherings. When I went there, I wanted to look and get the facts right. So I looked at the position of the aircraft, what it hit first, how it ended up, the positions of the switches, instrument indications, and all other things that would give me some clues on, more or less on what the intent of flight during that time was.
Armed with the information taken by Fritz and mechanics who visited the crash site, along with accounts of the rescuers and other locals in the area, we tried to piece together the events that led to the accident. First, the character of the pilot in command.
June, in his style and manner of flying, he really goes very methodically through all the protocols.
Sure.
Okay? He's reciting everything that he is going to do or intends to do. He will tell you, and not only open his mouth, but you also will see the real action of looking really to the right, checking, things like that.
Yes,
It's not lip service.
I also had the privilege of training this guy. When I was training him, he already showed the same qualities of filing the proper flight plan, of checking, making pedal turns. He would check first before doing the pedal turn. This guy is thorough.
Very thorough.
He is methodical in the way he does things.
I texted June at 10:37 a.m. informing him that the weather in Manila is not good. When I did not get a reply, I tried to call but did not get an answer. At 11:30 a.m., he called but I was driving and could not pick up the phone. I decided to call him when I reached my destination. At about 12:10 p.m., I called his phone but he did not pick up. Their staff in Puerto Galera later on informed us that they took off at 12:08 p.m. The direct routing for Manila is 004 degrees. Their point of impact was 015 degrees, which was 5 miles right of track. Evidence shows that the first 2 trees that the main rotor blades clipped indicate that their heading was 315 at the point of impact. The point of impact was about 1,400 feet, mean sea level, and the aircraft stopped at about 1,500 feet MSL. The forward motion of the fuselage created a tunnel through the vegetation, at the same time tearing parts of the fuselage along the way. Upon impact with a big tree root, it flipped upside down. So, upon hitting it on the right side, went this way. And here's a part of the drivetrain which was completely broken, which explains why this happened. This could be caused by the sudden stoppage because of the inertia, or it hit something earlier.
It was not thrown away after the impact of the fuselage, right?
No, before.
It was on account
Of
the main rotor blades hitting trees.
Yes. The blade's impact on the trees was so strong that it pulled the main rotor shaft out of the transmission. We also tried to check the position of the switches and instruments. Autopilot was engaged as evidenced by flight director, unless it was knocked out during the impact, and then all gears were up. These are the facts, and we have photos.
So all indications would say that they were in normal cruising flight.
correct.
With the speed that they have, yes, they are in normal cruising flight. So there is no engine failure. There is no emergency landing. Also, something we have to consider is that the cloud ceiling was very low that day. Even here in Manila was really bad. Even after the accident, we wanted to rescue them. We couldn't fly. I tried to look into all possible explanations. Several airlines make use of a biorhythm chart to assign two pilots together during a flight. Biorhythms are a person's biological cycle that influences his or her mental, emotional, and physical abilities at a given time. Out of curiosity, I checked June and Archie's biorhythm charts that day. Although June was at his peak intellectually, I was surprised to see he was at his lowest physical level. Archie was at an emotional low at -60. Of course, all these are just our own interpretations based on facts we know. And we leave it to the experts from the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines to come out with a conclusion from their investigation. The last few weekends prior to the accident, I flew Archie with his sons on 2 separate occasions. I remember seeing a different kind of happiness in him, spending time with Ats and Ian. I'm sure he lived for those moments. Archie was always a better helicopter pilot than me. When I had to land in tight spaces, I would tell him that he should do it so I don't ding his helicopter. Over the last few months of our trips together, he would often joke that I was getting better.
Flat, right? You're not such a bad chopper pilot after all.
Well, you know, I'm a fixed-wing person, and landing in pinnacles and small mountain tops like this is always difficult for me. And for some reason, I think you notice, even in the heli deck, I'm always landing short. I think it's a fixed-wing mentality that you have to have a little bit more space in front of you.
I know the feeling, but this is appropriate and for our
Wow, what
purpose
else?
today.
What else can you ask for, huh? With a view like this. I think I better...
Fantastic.
But since we don't have chucks, we better get these stones and get it going. I just want to make sure we are still able to get back home.
When I think of June, I remember the sun rising in Apple with a BO-105 parked along the beach. He sat by his tent and talked about his 2 boys and how they would stay up late watching movies with them. He often talked about his 2 boys. When we were on our way back to Manila, he spotted a huge pod of dolphins, the biggest I've ever seen in my life. June, seeing my amazement, turned around and made another low pass so our cameras could capture them. They were both better pilots than me. And the past few nights, I stay up wondering if I was the one who flew that day. Could I have saved them both?
Accidents like this happens to the best of pilots. These two have been in situations where decisions had to be made, and not only do I know it firsthand, I've seen both of them make decisions.
From a pilot's perspective, there's a face that we will really not know. And because of the way I know him, the way he does things, and together with June, who I've flown for quite some time too, it's a face that I think I will just have to leave open, and I guess, as people say, you know, if it's your time, it's your time.
So the lesson here is, if you are a pilot, and it can happen to the best and the brightest among them, it can happen to you, which forces us now to be more concerned about our flight planning, decision making, and all that.
I often tell my kids, there is no certainty in life. There are no guarantees. You make the best of it while you can. And you appreciate your friends and your loved ones while you can. On my birthday this year, family, my staff, and my best friends all conspired to make a video for me. And here is what Archie said.
Keep up the spirits. More jokes from you. Clearer skies, smooth winds, and safe landings.